Show. We're always happy to have him on our show. Buck, thanks a lot for coming on.
Hey,
so, put this in some perspective for us. What was the president calling for? Just pulling random people who looked Hispanic off the street and sending them to Guatemala, or was it something else?
No, this was looking at individuals who have had their day in court or evaded their day in court, who have gone through the process and have now an outstanding deportation order against them. They're not just here illegally. There are specific orders that this person should be deported. And so what he's shown by putting this out there is that the individuals who oppose this, meaning the Democratic Party now, are opposed to really any interior enforcement of our immigration laws. They're always going to find some reason, some excuse, some fear-mongering campaign for why this shouldn't be done, which really forces the question, why not just admit what they want, which is open borders? Or rather, we could ask them, why is illegal immigration bad? Because they never have an answer to that question, because they don't think it's bad.
So I'm trying to think, just through my own role as a citizen, I try to be a good person, but why should I pay my taxes? And this is a sincere question. Now that members of Congress, the single most powerful Democrat in the United States, third in line to the presidency, is telling me that you don't have to follow federal law. In fact, you're virtuous if you don't. Why am I following it? Am I an idiot for paying my taxes?
Well, no, they're pushing for lawlessness on immigration, Ocasio-Cortez and many others, and it's really worse than that. They're rooting against law enforcement, and I think that also needs to get a whole lot more attention here.
Yeah.
ICE officers are going into communities. They're going to have to, in their day-to-day operations, never mind this overall sweep, put themselves in situations where they could be in harm's way, and you have Ocasio-Cortez acting like these are stormtroopers, acting like these are people who are not doing what they are actually doing, which is enforcing federal law. No one denies that this is existing federal law. Members of Congress who are doing all the virtue signaling about how we don't want to separate families, Tucker, they separate families all the time for Medicare fraud, for not paying your taxes, for a whole bunch of things. But here, federal law no longer counts.
Yeah, exactly.
Americans,
millions of Americans are separated by force from their families because they fell afoul of some law. Right? I mean, light a cigarette in an elevator and find out what happens to you. I don't know. You sort of wonder at a certain point if lawmakers are encouraging the population to ignore the law, how long does it take before everything just falls apart?
Yeah, well, why don't we just get to pick the laws that we do and do not want to follow, and if we can get enough people behind us, all of a sudden it doesn't count. But really, the rooting against law enforcement, which we saw this with abolish ICE. You know, on the one hand, the FBI is sacrosanct because they've caused problems for Trump, at least at the top level. But all other law enforcement, particularly immigration and customs enforcement, they don't count anymore.
Exactly. It's such a smart point. You always make those. Buck Sexton, great to see you. Thank you.
Tucker.